morning, Facebook. How's it going? It's Thursday, March 2nd? 3rd. The 2nd of March. I'm a little bit earlier this morning than I normally am. 2 reasons. Firstly, my bestie friend Sarah had her bouncing baby boy this morning in the wee hours, and I'm going to go over there here in a little bit and see the baby and check out Mama and see how everybody's doing. I'm so happy for Sarah and CJ. Congratulations, you guys. This is their first, and I know that they're so excited, and I'm so excited for them. Babies are so wonderful. What a great way to start spring with new babies, and they're not mine, which is even better. Hi, Andrea. Andrea's joining me and Kathy Lynn. Hey, girls, how's it going this morning? Yeah, everybody's doing good. Hi, Anne, how are you? Congratulations to the new parents. I will give them love for you. I'm absolutely the person that you want in a hospital room after you have a baby because A, I will kick out nurses or anybody else that is like trying to wake you and or the child, and B, I will never pick up, snuggle, hold, poke, or in any other way disturb a sleeping baby because I've had 3 and I don't appreciate that, and I know nobody else does either. Anne waved when I said hi. Of course you did. It's okay. I can see you in my mind's eye, Anne, and it's beautiful. And I have a doctor's appointment of my own this morning also, just my annual checkup, so no concerns, but I have to go in and be poked and prodded and weighed and measured and all of those wonderful things, so, which is actually something that my health care requires, which is weird because I have really terrible health care anyway, and it's not like it changes anything. So, yeah, Andrea waves too, derp. It's okay. It's okay. So I feel like Sarah was really excited, not just for having the baby, but the fact that she had her baby before that silly giraffe on Facebook had her baby. So if you guys aren't watching the Odyssey of the Giraffe, it's like visual crack. I check in every once in a while and I find myself sucked into this rabbit hole of like just kind of the stream of conversation that everyone's having, and then just generally watching a giraffe pace around a 4-foot cell forever. It's not a 4-foot cell, it's a huge pen. It looks tiny because it's on a tiny, tiny screen. So, and giraffes are huge animals, so of course it looks small. But everybody in the world is waiting for this silly giraffe to drop her baby. It's been like, what, 7-8 days now of live feed constant. So that's interesting. I peek in, but it drains my battery really fast, so I can't watch for long. That's my excuse. Please tell me I'm not the only one obsessed with this giraffe. I feel like there's a lot of people. I've seen some of you. I'm not going to call you out by name, but I've seen some of you in the giraffe feed talking, so I know it's not just me. Excuse me, and I'm still a little stuffed up. I have like a little allergy thing happening. So it's sort of spring here. It's like 60 degrees, and then it's like 20 degrees, and then it's like 60 degrees. So like everything started blooming, and then it snowed, and now everything's blooming again. So my allergies are kind of killing me. Kathy Lynn says she heard about it, but she's refraining from watching. She doesn't want to get sucked in. That's probably a good call. Just wait until you hear everybody start going, oh, the giraffe had the baby, and then go watch it like as a repeat feed because you don't need to be staring at a giraffe's nethers all day. Andrea says the giraffes are amazing. Giraffes are crazy, like, because they're super tall, and the babies, they don't lay down to give birth. They just like drop them out of the air. It's like dropping a water balloon off of a 2nd-story building. Just like that's how giraffes are born. It's a good educational tool for my kids. That's what I keep telling myself. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, aside from the giraffe obsession, you guys know that I watch really terrible teen TV. And my newest obsession is Riverdale, which I can't even, you guys. I can't even. Every time I think this show is, like, peaked, it, like, just goes over. And I'm watching it, and Luke Perry chastising his teenage son makes me feel ancient. So thanks for that. And it's like a weird kind of, it's like a murder mystery, but it's like, I don't know. The Archie comics I remember are way tamer than the show, which is crazy. But I love it. I really like MTV Scream, and I love those kind of like super dramatic, angsty teen shows. So this is really fun for me. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that I thought Betty and her sister Polly were, like, the same person for a little while. Like, I legit had, like, a My Sweet Audrina in my head. Do you guys remember that V.C. Andrews book with Audrina and the other Audrina, who was actually the Original Audrina. Kathy Lynn is rolling from laughter right now. Glad I could amuse you, Kathy Lynn. But so, I guess tonight's episode will prove my theory wrong, that Polly and her sister are not the same person. So, I don't know, we'll see. I'm excited. I'm going to be sitting there eating popcorn, stuffing my face tonight in front of my TV. Anne says that was the best sentence ever. Luke Perry chastising his teenage son. I know! It's terrible. You're grounded, young man. And then I hear the 90210 music in the background, and oh, it's just terrible. It's not okay. It messes with my old lady brain. I feel old. Andrea says her husband makes her watch The Bachelor. I'm pretty sure that that's grounds for divorce, Andrea. I'm not saying that you have to leave your husband. I'm just saying I would be really disappointed if you didn't. It's okay. My husband makes me watch Sports Center. I have to watch all my crappy teen TV on my laptop because he doesn't let me watch it on the main TV. Well, he does sometimes. Sometimes he tolerates it. He's good about tolerating like Supergirl and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But when we start getting into Riverdale, he's like, I can't even. So he makes me change it. Andrea says, yeah, tell me about it. Make you... I honestly, I tried The Bachelor when it first came out. I never understood the appeal of The Bachelor. Like, I don't know, it's such a weird concept even to like as women, we're already sort of bred to like feel very competitive with each other. Like, let's put a dozen women in a room and make them fight over one half-ass dude. Pass. Hard pass. Thanks anyway. He literally has a fantasy league with The Bachelor. Oh my god, Andrea! Okay, so here's the deal, Internet. We're going to gather and have an intervention for Andrea's husband. And we're gonna all bring roses, and we're gonna tell him that we love him, but that he needs to step up because that is wildly not okay. Katie doesn't understand the appeal of The Bachelor either. No, I don't. I've always felt like instead of roses, they should give out like tetanus shots and pregnancy tests on that show. Like, I feel like it'd be more realistic. Like, I don't know. It's so 9th grade to me. I can't handle it. Okay, I'm not going to repeat what Andrea just said, but that was fabulous, Andrea, and I totally agree. Intervention rose style. Yes, we're going to have a roservention. It's going to be fantastic, you guys. Kate, I'm really sorry, Kitty, but you're going to have to, like, make cookies for us or something, because I don't like to travel or intervene on an empty stomach. So, she says she thinks it's perfect for a reality show. Yeah, because it's total reality. I don't know, I guess. I don't know. I don't like it. I would rather watch Dancing with the Stars, and even that show kind of makes me want to claw my own eyes out. I'm not a reality TV fan. I like escapism TV. I don't like to watch reality TV. I don't even like to watch the news. Though I will watch stuff like Forensic Files, and I will watch stuff like The Curse of Oak Island. Like, I'm kind of addicted to that right now. Even though they never friggin' find anything, and it's killing me. So, I don't know. I like stuff like that. Bill Stein's most smartest model is the second best for reality TV. That's fabulous. I've never heard of that, Anne, but I like it. Okay. Andrea says she loves Oak Island. Okay. Yeah, see, so we can all get on board. We're all together. That's why we're friends. Ben Stein. Is it Bill Stein? Did I say Ben Stein? Ben Stein would be better. Okay. You guys are killing me this morning. Way too early for this. So I got 2 questions this week in the chat and via Messenger about author-related questions. So I'm going to hit those up really quick. Andrea says she's sorry we derailed you. You did derail me. Thank you. She says she wrote Bill, but it's supposed to be Ben. Okay. Ben Stein. That makes much more sense. Okay. Derailed completely. Sorry. Things happen. What are you going to do? So the 2 questions that I got this week were, where should readers leave reviews that do authors the most good? And beta readers and street teams, what are they and why do I need them? Both great questions. So I'm going to hit the reader review thing first because I feel like that's a fairly simple topic to handle. Basically, the very best place that a reader can leave a review and do the most good for an author is Amazon. And Here is why. When an author goes, well, there's a couple reasons. Firstly, when an author goes to get an ad, say I want to run an ad on one of my books, an advertisement with like a magazine or a blog or whatever, they will look at the average star number and the number of reviews on Amazon as their gauge to whether or not they're going to run a review on that book. So if you have 20 reviews and like a 4-star average, your chances of getting that advertisement spot are very slim. If you have over 100 reviews and a 4.5 or better average, then you're getting really, really close to that sort of magical place where you can get almost any advertisement that you want. I will say that I am happy for you to leave a review anywhere. There are some places the reviews do zero good. Goodreads. Goodreads is great, and I know that reviewers and readers love Goodreads. I have literally thousands of reviews on Goodreads, and despite the fact that Amazon owns Goodreads, I don't know if you knew that, Amazon owns Goodreads, they don't cross over. So just because you leave a review on Goodreads does not mean that Amazon or anybody that's buying on Amazon sees it. And that's problematic for us because it's great that it's there, but it really doesn't do us any good. So if you're really looking to help out an author, you want your review to do them some good, put it on Amazon. The other thing that Amazon reviews do is that Amazon, once you hit a certain review, a certain number of reviews, and I want to say that that number is 20, Amazon starts promoting your book internally more heavily. You get more recommended spots, you get more, have you ever seen a book listing on Amazon and you scroll down and it says, if you like this, try this, or similar to what you've bought. It calculates that way too. So, but you have to have a minimum number of reviews to sort of make those lists. So, Amazon is 100% the best place that you can leave a review for a book. Is it 50 Amazon? Okay, Lauren says it's 50. 50 reviews. Yeah, okay. I thought maybe 20 was a little low. 50 reviews. But once you start hitting those thresholds, and the more reviews you get, every time you hit a threshold number with Amazon, it promotes you more heavily within Amazon, which helps your book sell. So, that is the best thing you can do. I would say secondly, your best places to leave reviews, secondly, are the secondary distributors like Barnes & Noble, or if you're buying like from Walmart, you can leave reviews on Walmart or Target.com. Those are great too. All of those places will do an author more good than Goodreads reviews. Goodreads reviews are great. They're kind of throwaways for us on our end because number one, I don't read my Goodreads reviews. Goodreads is sort of a mecca for people who will review a book they didn't read or review the wrong book, and there's very little sort of accountability on Goodreads for that sort of thing. And you're much more likely to end up with bad reviews on Goodreads than anywhere else. I don't know why that is, but it is absolutely the case. So, I tend not to read my Goodreads reviews, and I stay off Goodreads as a rule, unless I'm going in to answer fan questions or something. Kathy says lots of trolls. Yeah, I've had books that were listed on Goodreads that hadn't released yet, that were getting 3 or 4 one-star reviews from people that there's no way they had this book yet, there's no way they read the book yet, but something about either the cover bothered them, or they were just generally trolling and being jerks. That happens a lot on Goodreads, much more than it happens on Amazon. I don't know why that is. So, want to help an author out, leave your review on Amazon, number one. And don't be afraid to leave reviews, like copy and paste that sucker to wherever you buy books from or wherever you want to go. If you're leaving on Goodreads, great, leave on Goodreads, but copy that back over to Amazon too. You do not have to have purchased the book on Amazon to leave the review on Amazon. Amazon does give preference to verified purchases, so if you do purchase the book on Amazon and review it through them, they give more credibility to that review in their internal algorithm, but they'll still show the review whether you bought it there or not. Same with Barnes & Noble. You can review it. Okay. Beta readers and street teams. So there's a couple different types of street teams, and there's a couple different ways that people use either beta readers or critique groups. So I'm going to start with street teams first. Generally speaking, a street team is a group of people that help you promote your book. They're a group of fans that are excited about your work, and the term street team actually came from from bands that would travel from city to city. And in each city, they had a street team that would go out on the street, hang up flyers for the shows that were coming, or hand out tickets, or help with setup, or whatever the band needed them to do in that city. Now, authors have street teams too, and the author street teams are a little different in that an author street team is for the sole purpose of helping the author promote their book. In exchange for that, the author will give them, exclusive looks at things, or sneak peeks, or early releases, or free copies, or whatever the author wants to do to incentivize their street team. But that's the purpose of a street team, is to help you market and promote your book, which is vastly different from, say, some groups have like blogger teams, which is, if you have a blogger team, then they're there to help you get the word out about your book also, but mostly for reviews. Mostly when you're setting up a blogger team, it's so that you can give them early copies and they can leave their reviews on their website, which is a type of promotion, I understand, but it's a little different. Street teams share graphics on social media. Street teams will, share video trailers or talk about your book in their private book clubs, or, in whatever way they can assist you. That is what your street team does. Bloggers are very specifically for reviews. Blog teams are very specifically for reviews. I don't use a blog team. If I'm scheduling reviews, I tend to do it through a service. That's just laziness on my part, and because I feel like a lot of the blog tour companies that I work with have a much better reach with bloggers than I do, and have this sort of constant reputation, so it's easier for them to get in certain doors than it is for me. I do have a few bloggers that I know personally, that I'm friends with, that they just sort of get all my stuff by default, which is great. But I have become much pickier over the last few years about what blogs I will work with, because I feel like recently everybody's a blogger. And that's problematic when you have a new book releasing and you have 1,000 bloggers that want a free copy of your book to review. Yes, that's great. I want those early reviews coming out, but do I want to give away that many copies of my book basically for people that are, most bloggers are also career readers. And so I also want to be able to sell that book. So it's kind of a fine line. Kitty says street teams are the best when done right. I absolutely agree. Come be a guest speaker with me. Anytime, Katie. I'll come be a guest speaker with you anytime. Andrea says not everyone leaves a review either. That's also hard when you have a blog team that you give copies to and then they don't leave reviews. That can be really tough, because sometimes maybe they didn't like the book and they would rather not leave a review than leave you a bad review, which I sort of appreciate also. At the same time, I appreciate honest reviews, no matter what. But it's hard when you've given away 100 copies of your book, and of that 100 copies, maybe 10 people reviewed it. That's hard. And it does. It's very disheartening, and it makes it difficult. And then you sort of have to constantly be calling and cultivating your list of bloggers that you want to work with. So those are sort of the two basic kinds of teams. And then you can also have your fan club, which is different. A fan club is, you don't expect anyone to do anything. It's a place for your fans to gather and chat about your book, and you can go in and interact with them, which is also a great thing to have. Kitty says it's fun when they demand a physical copy of the book and then stop talking to you when you offer them an ebook instead. A lot of authors do not send physical ARCs anymore. It's expensive. We have to pay for every single one of those copies. It's not going to be cover price, but we usually have to pay half. So if a book's $10, we're still paying $5 for that book, plus probably another $3 or $4 to ship it. So it actively costs us money to send print ARCs to a blogger, which is tough. Lauren says that's why she stopped messing with bloggers and just made herself an ARC team. Okay, there you go. I have found that when I offer my street team ARCs, digital ARCs, I get very good amount of feedback and reviews. 99% of the people that will download it then review it. And I can track that. I use InstaFreebie, so I can see who downloaded it, and then I can go back and sort of check their sites and see if they're actually leaving reviews, and most of them do. There's been, I think, only one ever that didn't, so which is really cool. Lauren says if they don't turn in the review, they get removed from the team. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. Again, culling and recultivating that list constantly. It's constant work. When you are talking, however, about beta readers and critique groups, wildly different from street teams or blogger teams or any of that, the beta readers and the critique groups are the people that are going to get to see your book in its roughest form for the first time to help you polish and refine your book. I don't use a critique group. A critique group is its own sort of beast in that you have a group of people that get together, usually physically, but sometimes just online. They exchange books, and everybody gives their opinions on all of that. My issue with that is that you can end up in critique groups where either everybody's writing in different genres, and so what works in one genre might not work for another genre, and then you get weird feedback that's not going to actually help you, or you get an inequality of where everyone is at in their careers, and you have sort of jealousy issues and random things that can come into play that can really destroy a critique group. So I don't personally use a critique group. I do have beta readers, a handful of beta readers that I trust beyond measure, that are actively reading books in the genres that I write, or that have experience with the topics that I'm writing about, and I send it to them. As soon as I finish my first draft, it goes out to them. I put it out of my mind for a little while so that the next time I look at it, I'm looking at it with fresh eyes, clear perspective. I put it aside for a few weeks while my beta readers are looking at it. And I give my beta readers a list. And the list is a list of places that I know my work suffers in the first draft form. When I write a first draft, it tends to be very quick and dirty. There's very little setting, there's very little description, the pacing is often off, things like that. So I will make them a checklist throughout the book. You know, were there places in this book that moved too quickly or too slowly? Were there places where you were confused? Were there places where, the setting needed to be changed, or more setting, more description, less description? And I give them this list of things to be thinking about as they go through the book. And that way I get very targeted notes that I'm looking for to help me when I am able to go back through that and start polishing and cleaning it up. Anne says she gets physical ARCs through her homeschool library, and she can't even give them away. People would rather have the final copy. They have been significantly lower in value on the back end. Okay, that's interesting to me. ARCs, you cannot resell ARCs. You can give away ARCs technically. You cannot resell ARCs. Most ARCs actually say on the cover, advanced reader copy, not for resale. There's a huge issue with this. I know a lot of bloggers that will sell ARCs, and it's wildly not okay. I mean, giving away ARCs even is one thing. I don't like seeing books destroyed, so I would never ask somebody to strip the book and destroy it. I would much rather than pass it on to somebody. But, like, you can't donate them to libraries and stuff. They're very protected because a lot of the times an ARC will go out before the final edits are done on a book, which means the ARC will contain errors that will not be present in the final book, which means that anybody that gets the ARC is seeing the book not in its best light. They're really supposed to be used for early reviews only, and it's really sort of its own bag. Lauren says they're ridiculously high priced too. They are. They're super high priced. Printing an ARC is not like printing a final book because you have to print such a small number of them that the price increases quite a bit. So, if you have an ARC, you're not sure what to do with it, I would say give it away before selling it, but please, 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 please don't sell ARCs. Don't sell ARCs. Anne says physical ARCs last forever. That's true, but there are some places that only accept physical ARCs, and when I say some places, I don't mean necessarily bloggers, but the big trade review houses, Kirkus, Booklist, School Library Journal, all of those places that are going to help you with your print sales only accept print ARCs, and usually they need a couple copies, and they need it several months in advance. Usually anywhere between 3 and 6 months in advance on average is when they need them, which is why ARCs are not the finished, polished draft of a book. So, because they have to go out so early to those trade reviewers. If you're curious about ARCs as an indie author, my suggestion to you is this. If you are using something like CreateSpace or an on-demand printer for your ARCs, make a separate file, a separate print file, upload your ARC just like you would a print book, but put ARC on the cover, on the front and back covers, in the front matter, not for resale, watermark it if you want to, and then give those out, but as a separate file, so that, and all you have to do, like if you're using CreateSpace, is create it just like you would the regular print edition, and then don't put it for sale on the channels. And that'll help you order your own ARCs if you want print ARCs for trade or for giveaways. What are your thoughts on Kirkus and other companies? Kirkus is, and a lot of the other trade review companies are great if you have a book that is being traditionally printed and distributed. by which I mean if you are creating the books as an indie author and they are print on demand with a company like CreateSpace or Lightning Source or even Ingram Spark, even if your book's not returnable, you're going to spend a lot more money sending those books out, printing those books, and in certain cases like Kirkus, if you're an indie author, you have to pay to submit to them, and it's a lot. It's like a lot, you guys. So you are almost never going to see that return on your print editions, ever. It's really hard for an indie author to make those trade reviews worth it. My suggestion to you on the flip side of that is if you are an indie author and you want to send physical ARCs, pick 5 of the largest bloggers in your sphere of review and send to them instead, because they don't get print ARCs very often. Number 1, we talked about why. And number 2, it helps you develop those relationships with them that, you know, you're saying that I think that you are a large enough blogger, a well-known enough blogger that I am going to take this expense and send you these print copies because I really want you to review it. So that's my personal suggestion on the Kirkus and stuff. However, if you are with a publisher who is doing, you know, a traditional print run, your books are going to be in Barnes & Noble, they're not print on demand, then absolutely try to get those print reviews or those trade reviews, because they will help you get into like the School Library Journal catalog, which helps you get into libraries, all of those things. I would recommend doing it with at very least the first in your series. You don't necessarily need to keep doing it as your series progress. But yeah, for at least the first in your series, if you have a traditional print run. If you don't have a traditional print run, you're going to spend way more than you make. School Library Journal, is the School Library? No, Booklist has an indie platform, Book Life, that you can submit to for free as an indie author, and you can submit digital copies instead of print copies. And I have never used it, but I've heard good things about it. So, oh yeah, Katie makes a good point. Also, you can send print copies to booktubers because they like the print copies because they hold them up on camera and they say, look at this fabulous book that I'm reading. So yeah, again, when I suppose I say bloggers, but I also mean like booktubers or even bookstagrammers that are going to use that then multiple times to do these, you know, the print photography that they do, the book art, which is fabulous. It's a lot easier and more effective than holding up a Kindle that glares. Yeah, for sure. So if you're not going to send to the trade reviewers, come up with between 5 and 10 people that you really want to send those to, and you know, make it a short list, but print those out and send those. That's my suggestion. Humble opinion, your mileage may vary. I've had better luck doing that with my indie stuff than I have with the trade reviews for the indie stuff. However, I've gotten trade reviews that have become very useful for my bigger series that are with like Clean Teen and stuff, because they do the traditional print runs, they're in bookstores, they're returnable, they're all of those things. So when I walk into any Barnes & Noble in the country, I can find some of our books. And those reviews really do help the bookstore buyers decide not only if they're going to put a title on the shelf, but how many copies. Yeah, most people don't know. Barnes & Noble particularly has a whole, and most brick and mortar stores do have people whose job is to just buy books, the buyers. And publishing companies and distributors have meetings with these buyers and send them catalogs, you know, every season and say, hey, these are the books that we have coming out. Which of these books do you want on your shelf and how many do you want? And so you get the orders that way. Katie says when she does her live broadcast to teach how to stylize a specific book for Bookstagram, I won't do it with a digital because it's hard to keep it on the screen while you're broadcasting. Yeah, it is. It's impossible. So again, that's another thing that the print ARCs are good for. Or even just finished print copies. If you don't want to do print ARCs, if you have your copies printed up and ready, you can order them before the actual print book goes live. You can order your own personal copies and send those out however long in advance. So it's just something to keep in mind. Beta readers versus critique groups, it's going to be your personal choice what you prefer. If you have a good critique group nearby, my suggestion is if you're thinking about joining a critique group, sit in on a couple meetings, like 2 or 3, before you actually join and see if this is something that you're going to be able to use and that's going to be beneficial for you as an author. If you feel like, if you're comfortable with it, if you're comfortable with the people, if you're comfortable with the feedback that everyone's getting, then by all means go for it. I'm not trashing critique groups at all. I've seen them be really useful and really successful. For me, they weren't my bag. I go with beta readers every time instead. And readers, leave us the reviews on Amazon. Good, bad, or otherwise. They all help. We really appreciate it. I can't even tell you, Queen of Someday hit 300 reviews, I don't know, last month, a couple months ago. And I was so excited that the 300th review came in and it was like a crappy 1-star review. And I was so upset. And then like instantly 2 weeks later, I had 27 new reviews that were all 4- and 5-star reviews. So it's funny how much more Amazon propagates your book once you hit those thresholds. Once I hit 300 reviews, I could see the difference in my sales and in my ranking and in the number of reviews I was getting, that suddenly it was going out to more people. And it's not anything I did on my end. It's just that Amazon loves Amazon. Oh, which reminds me also, one other thing. For those of you that are indie authors that are self-publishing, Amazon KDP has an option right now to do print books through Amazon. I'm going to give you a word of advice and a word of caution. The word of caution is, if you do your print books through Amazon, you cannot order personal author copies at your traditional discount on Amazon right now, which means you can't order ARCs, you can't order personal stock to take to conventions, you cannot. The only thing that you can do is create it and put it live on Amazon right now. The upside to that, however, is that Amazon loves Amazon, which means if you are doing your print book with Amazon, they are going to push it and advertise it and get it out there a lot more than they do with books coming in from third-party printers and distributors. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that if you opt to go with Amazon for your print books, you can still create a print run on a secondary place like CreateSpace or something. Again, you just don't make it, you just don't add it to any sales channels, you don't put it on sale, you create it, and then you can order your own copies through there to take to conventions or to whatever else, whatever other reason you might need print copies. They will not be the edition that is on sale on Amazon, but you can still order those. The only difference is, unless you bought your own ISBNs and you're using it for both, they will have different ISBNs, which 1,000% doesn't matter 99% of the time. So, Cameron's here, hi. Andrea says, yay. I love Amazon, and they are telling us that eventually you will be able to order those books through Amazon. So if you're curious about the Amazon print books, I mean, give it a try. Absolutely, I'm all for give it a try, see how you like it, see what the difference is in the print sales, see if you get any better return, and then also, you know, get your copy set up through whatever printer that you normally use for your personal use copies right now until Amazon rolls that out. I think that's it. I'm going to go to the hospital and see me a baby. Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. Hopefully I will be having the new YouTube show up soon. I'm working with my producer to kind of get everything together, and we've decided on the name for the show, which is going to be Sherry Sounds Off, which is sort of my take on, like, do you remember, like, Clarissa Explains It All from the 90s? Like, it's going to be like that, only it's going to be me, and it's going to be me ranting about the stuff I normally rant about, which is, like, pop culture stuff and books and publishing. So, be sure you guys check that out. I will be doing a huge blast and announcement once I have details on that. It's going to be fab. You'll get to see a lot more of this. You're welcome. Andrea says, woohoo, yeah. And that's it. You guys have a great week. Oh, next week on my Monday author show, I'm having Corinne O'Flynn is going to be here. And then the following week is Lisa Manifold. And then I'm off for spring break. And then we're going to wrap up my author Facebook Live author series with Katie Robinson, who's going to be here to chat about Golden, which is fabulous. Kathy Lynn, Katie, I love you guys. You're amazing. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.